It's some 17 minutes after 7. This is the AM show. You're welcome to my banner. And on Tuesday, that's yesterday, the Gender Ministry announced some new interventions to restructure the school feeding program. We're going to get into the details of that. Remember, the Gender Ministry has taken over the school feeding program. But where are we with the school program, the feeding program itself? I've been joined by Alhaji Siba Alpha, who is Public Relations Officer, School Feeding Program. I'd like to welcome you to the program, Alhaji.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So can we start with where are we with the school feeding program? How does it look like now?
Yes, great. It looks promising. As you are aware, the school feeding program started in 2005 as part of the UN Millennium Development Goals. Now, the Sustainable Development Goals. And then it seeks to, what do you call it, enhance food security and then also eradicate short-term hunger. But the major objective of the program are to, first and foremost, increase school enrollment, attendance, and retention. And then secondly, to also boost domestic food production, and then also to eradicate short-term hunger and malnutrition amongst school-going children. And so, since 2005, we've been expanding progressively. About 2009, thereabouts, we're feeding a little over 600,000 school children. Then it was even co-sponsored by the Ghana government and the government of the Netherlands. But along the line, if you remember, there were some issues that had to do with the program, and then the Dutch government withdrew. Apparently, they were not satisfied with the way the implementation program was, the implementation was going on. And so there were some recommendations which were implemented in 2010. And then they, in fact, came back to settle their outstanding commitment to the program. And so since then, we've been progressing. And as we speak today, we are feeding more than 1,700,000 school children across the 216 MMDAs, that's Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies. And so you would appreciate that we have come a long way if you look at the quantum jump from 600 and something thereabout in early 2009 or so.
But is this reflecting in the things that you outlined, what the program wanted to achieve? Because it's food, but there's a bigger purpose.
Obviously, we do it alongside the objectives. We don't want to deviate from them. So that's why there's a goodwill from our donor partners as well as the government of Ghana to progressively expand the program. As we even talk, we have a target of 3 million children by the close of 2016.
3 million children?
3 million children. But as I said, as at now, we are doing more than 1.7 million school children across the country.
Are we taking care of the quality of the food as well? Or we're just counting the number of children we're feeding?
No, for us, the important thing is even the quality, because we are not just feeding the school children. And then if I should even mention, the feeding program is not just feeding school children. It has numerous, multiplier effects. Because if you are feeding children, the communities where where the beneficiary schools are, you are also investing in the local community. You are enhancing the capacity of these local farmers that we call emerging commercial farmers who are producing. Then you are also providing them with structured market so that the school feeding caterers would buy from the farm produce that these farmers produce. And then you are also talking about nutrition. That's even the most singular aspect of it, because you are trying to improve the health status of the school children so that you enhance their ability to learn and also concentrate in school, and then also stay in school. When they come to school, they don't just...
So are they staying in school?
That's the point I'm making, because the food is more or less like a bait. You are luring them to school, and not only that, when they come, because they know there's going to be a hot, nutritious meal for them during feeding time. They normally stay, to enjoy their meal, and then when it's when the school time is over, then all of them go back to.
So what do we know? Do we know if their concentration is on the food that they are coming to eat, or they are actually thinking about the content of what is also being shared in the classroom?
As I did indicate, for us the principal objective is to let them come to school. That's the first and foremost thing, and then we know if children are able to come to school and they stay and they get this balanced diet, obviously their learning ability and concentration is going to increase.
I guess what I'm trying to find out is, how are we measuring these objectives that you outlined? They're fine objectives, but are we meeting these objectives?
Yes, we've conducted several studies, and as far as the nutritional aspect of the food the food is concerned. But I must also say that it's not all that we maybe without any challenges. We do have some challenges here and there, but it is our ability to be able to confront these challenges head on that makes the school feeding program outstanding. If we care to know, many countries on the continent are also implementing school feeding program. But what is unique about the Ghana's program is that we are implementing homegrown school feeding program. That's very important.
Which one is homegrown?
Homegrown basically means that we are not importing any food items from abroad or whatever to feed our children. We are using the locally produced foodstuff to feed the school children. And what we do is that we say that the caterers should try as much as possible to procure at least 80% of their food items locally. When we say locally, we mean that the first thing is the beneficiary communities, where the communities are located, where the schools are located. We try to tell the caterers to buy their food stuff from there. And then secondly, if they are not able to access the food from the local community, they go to the district level to purchase the food stuff. And if at the district level they are not able to access it, then they go to the regional level and the national level. So we are interested in the local produce. In that way, we are able to enhance the income capacities of our local farmers.
We'll come into, I'm interested in some of the challenges, because you mentioned challenges, you didn't get into the details of it.
No, I was only saying that we don't have to, we have to admit somewhere that at least a social intervention program of this magnitude definitely we will not say that is devoid of any challenge.
So
we do have challenge.
Do we owe caterers as of today?
Yes, admittedly we owe caterers, but it's also heartwarming to also observe that we have been making payments since the school feeding program was relocated to the under the ministry. You know, as you have just said in your intro, the ministerial oversight responsibility of program has changed from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. And so as we speak, last month we were able to pay 64 days of the feeding grant to caterers. That was the days actually should be 69. But we're able
you've been able to pay 64.
64, and there's 5 days outstanding. That is for second term of 2014-2015 academic year. And for for the third term, we owe them 55 days, which the money is ready. But because of some of the changes, the restructuring that has been initiated, there was this audit assessment in the school feeding program. And so the findings of the audit would inform us as to how to make this payment. Because
so let me understand this. You owe them third term.
Yes, let me make
because
it clear.
This is a fresh term. This is the beginning of a new calendar.
Exactly.
This is first term.
Yeah.
But you owe them the previous term.
Yes. That's what I was trying to explain.
So how do they cook for the children now?
We have paid them last month.
You said you paid 64?
Yes, 64 days. And then we are now going to pay the 60 days because it was supposed to be 69.
How does it work? Maybe we should go back to the beginning. How does the payment system work?
Yes, that will take us to some of the reforms that we are introducing. Actually, we are now using the electronic payment system, whereby monies are transmitted electronically to caterers. And so two organizations were involved in this. The first one is GIPS, Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System. That's GIPS. And then the MTN, what do you call it?
Mobile money. Okay.
And so we have zoned the country into two. The GIPS, they are in charge of the, what do you call it, Northern region, the 3 Northern regions, Ashanti region, as well as Borno-Afro region. And the rest of the 5 regions is being taken by, what do you call it, MTN. And so what we do is that the essence, which is very important, of this transformation is to be able to curtail the delays that we normally encounter whenever we do the release. Sometimes we do the releases, government will release, but it takes about not less than 2 months or 3 months. Some assemblies even delay about up to 3 months. But I must also say that some assemblies, majority of them are doing very well in terms of the expeditious release of the funds.
So do you pay the caterers before they start cooking? Is that the deal?
No, the school feeding program actually is a pre-financing project. The caterers, that's why in terms of the conditions for hiring caterers, the caterer has to demonstrate her financial capability to be able to finance the program, and then as and when government releases the funds, then we remit it to the caterer. And so it's a pre-financing program. The caterers are supposed to pre-finance.
How long do you pre-finance? I mean, how long would you have your money invested in it before it's refunded?
No, what's yes, the caterer, if it's pre-financed, obviously the caterer will have to have some capital base to be able to, because it's a capital-intensive program. Every day you are feeding, for instance, if you are feeding about 400 children, imagine a day you are going to spend not less than maybe 200 Ghana or 300 Ghana to feed them a day. And so if you multiply these 200 or 300 Ghana cedis times the, what do you call it, the number of days in a term, which is 60 days, 70 or even 55.
And how am I supposed to be paid? Is it on a terminal basis, monthly basis, weekly?
Yes. Now, that's part of the reforms we are doing. Initially, it wasn't so. We pay as and when we also get the releases from central government. And so there's no any time, what you call a fixed date that maybe monthly or whatever you are going to get your money. But as you can get money on monthly basis, provided we're also able to access to get the funds in time. But otherwise, you can cook for maybe full term without any payment. And then when, what do you call it, we also get the money, then we are able to remit it to the caterers.
Okay. My colleague, Hannah Odami, has got a lot more details. I've got a lot of questions that I want to ask right now. But I want us to listen to her report, because from next January, we're told also that every child under the school feeding program will be registered on the National Health Insurance Scheme. This is to ensure the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection can account for the exact number of children on the scheme for sustainable provision of nutritional needs. Gender Minister Nana Oyelitha announced this at a school feeding learning event in Accra on Tuesday, where Hannah Odami came through with this report.
Introduced in 2005, the school feeding program is aimed at providing one main meal for school children to enable them stay in school and not loiter during lunchtime. Each of the 1.7 million children in the program are fed with 80 pesos daily from government coffers, an amount caterers have argued is inadequate. Aside caterers complaining of delays in payment of monies they use to purchase food items, the school children have also complained about the quality of food they are served with. Gender Minister Nana Oyelitha says, with the program now under her ministry, all the concerns will be addressed, starting with the registration of the school children onto the scheme.
It will serve two purposes. We will get data of the real numbers of children who are being fed, because we have instances where there's been an overbloating of the numbers of children. In addition, we will ensure that the children have access to health care, and it's a biometric card. So we will then use that to create a database of the children who are being fed under school feeding, and we'll have the real numbers.
Another intervention is to audit activities of the program and pay all caterers on time.
I'm happy to announce that we will pay before the end of December. Not all the arrears, but some of the arrears. The accountants are working that out. Definitely within the next 2 weeks, we will be paying for the school feeding.
To address the complaints of the school children about the quality and quantity of the food served them, Nana Oyelitha says nutritionists will be consulted to draw up better menus.
In terms of nutrition and in terms of the menu for the children, we will be convening a national nutrition conference on the school feeding program to come up with a diet, a menu plan. What we want is 3 menus along the geographical regions of Ghana. 1 menu for children in the coastal belt, 1 in the forest belt, and then 1 for the savannah. We will be forging a closer relationship with the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service, because we even need to determine what is the appropriate time to feed the children.
Some caterers who spoke to Joy News were hopeful the numerous interventions announced by the minister will soon bear fruits.
For what she has said, we are happy to hear that, and we are praying that it should come true. We are very grateful if really it is true. We are very grateful. Why are you saying if? You know, normally if they say these things takes time before it happens.
For Joy News, my name is Hannah Odame.
All right, one of the things that Hannah came back with also, Alhaji, was the fact that some people didn't like this e-payment system. They had issues with it. How are you addressing that?
Yes, as I was indicating, at the beginning of any initiative, you have to anticipate some issues that will come out of it, and then if you identify them, then you try to address them, to initiate remedial measures to be able to curtail their reoccurrence. But as it is, when we started the e-payment, I think some of the caterers provided some wrong data. For instance, some used their spouses' numbers to register for the money, and when the monies came, they went to withdraw, only to be told that no, the money didn't come in their name. So these are some of the issues. It has to do with basically maybe sensitization. So it's not as if the mobile money per se is the challenge, but of course we consider that there may be some hitches here and there. And so this workshop, for instance, that we are doing is also to be able to address. We want to hear from participants their opinion, their suggestions and recommendations, how going forward, how to be able to address these challenges. Because
I was just wondering how you arrived at the mobile money system. Couldn't you just use their bank accounts, just transfer the money to their accounts or something?
Yes, I think we are talking about the same thing. What I was even saying is that the other GIFs, that they are using e-switch card. And we know the enormous benefit of e-switch card is biometric. Nobody can impersonate to go and they maybe take the money illegally, and then they get the money in time to be able to also pay their creditors, and they're able to also make their purchases, and then go on with their feeding program. But for the MTN mobile money, all the caterers were issued with SIM card or new MTN numbers, where they will be informed via maybe SMS alerts. And so they will get a message and go to any money outlets. You can even go to a bank and withdraw. Initially, the caterers thought they could only withdraw from the money vendors. That's these people who are normally on the road doing the money transfers. And when they normally go there, they are now allowed to withdraw more than 1,000 Ghana. And even if they are going to withdraw 1,000 Ghana, there's a charge of 1 CD for each 100 Ghana you are going to withdraw. So the 1,000 Ghana, you have to pay a commission of 10 CDs. And so they didn't know that there's some options existed. So we told them that no, they can go to any bank or some of the banks that we have designated. They can go there and withdraw not less than maybe 10,000 Ghana CDs a day. that's the cap, they can withdraw a maximum of 10,000 Ghana cedis. And so because of some of these things, as I was indicating that perhaps they were not well informed about some of these things. And then since then, we have been able to go around to do sensitization, to be able to tell them the options available to them in terms of withdrawing their money.
I've got some questions coming through our WhatsApp platform, which is 0560 800,000. It also comes with some pictures of food, but let me read the text. Who monitors the matrons? I'm the head of a basic school in Upper West. The only person who comes to explain things is the caterer, so I can sign papers I know nothing about. And he sent, I don't know what food this is. I don't even know how to call it. It comes with some kind of soup. I'm going to try as much as possible and show it to you. Hopefully we can capture it. And then maybe you can start answering the question of who monitors the matrons.
Yes, but this picture you are displaying, we don't know how authentic it is. Somebody has just sent you on your WhatsApp.
Yes, but I'm sharing his text message.
Yes,
so I've got to
yeah, we do appreciate that people are
share the picture that he sent to me, to be fair to him.
Yes, people are what do you call it? People are very critical about it. That's good. We need constructive engagement with the members of the public on how to improve upon the school fee. We have never shied away from the fact that, at least, as I was saying, there's no program that has come with this magnitude without any challenge. But
so back to who monitors the matron?
We have mechanisms, very robust, of course, in monitoring the program. We have at the district level, even at the school level, where the feeding program takes place, we have a committee called the School Implementation Committee. This is a committee that has a very wide membership who monitor the activities of the caterer in the school. Even the girls and boys prefects of the school, who might be class 6 pupils, are members of the committee, just to ensure that the people themselves know what is going on in the school. And beside that, at the district level, we have district implementation committee. They normally hire the caterers in consultation with us, the school feeding program secretariat. And the district implementation committee is made up of very high profile members. You talk about the district director of Agric, who is a member of the committee, because obviously if you are dealing with farmers, you need to involve the district director of Agric. And then we also have district director of education, because obviously we are dealing with school children. And then we also have the district director of health, because of the health issues, deworming and whatnot. And so this is a committee that has a large, membership, who are able to monitor the activities of the. Of course, once in a while, some caterers may like to cut corners, and because of some of these things, that's why we are trying to address the delays in payment.
So if you're parents or a guardian and you have worries about the food, who do you address it to from the level where you are explaining? Yes,
I'm sure once we have a committee at the school level, the first point of call is the school implementation committee, where the head teacher, the assemblyman of the area, and then the chief. We even select a chief to be one of the members of the committee.
This exists in all the schools?
In all the schools. Unless, of course, some would have inaugurated the committee, but the committee may not function as well as maybe we want it. Otherwise, every school is supposed to have the committee in place.
Are the caterers supposed to be committed to what has been agreed upon, even when they have not been paid for the food they prepared in the past?
Yes, that is where I was alluding to, that we do have some issues there, because normally when the money is delayed, sometimes the caterers use it as a pretext to offer substandard meals. You know, as business people, their primary motivation is to make profits. And that's why we think that the parents who are members of the committee, school feeding, the school implementation committee, must ensure that the right things are done at the school level. And so, if the caterer is not doing well, obviously the committee members can raise the issue and then bring it up to the district level. And at the district level, if they are not able to resolve it, then we have regional coordinators. I must also mention, at all the 10 regions in Ghana, we have a secretariat where we have the regional coordinators as well as regional monitors. They go around, even the remotest areas where the feeding program takes place, they go around to monitor the program. And at least the reports we are getting, they are doing their best, because They even have, some of them have motorbikes, so that they'll be able to access the remotest areas. Because that's where we are. We are in the vulnerable communities. We don't want to be in the cities. We want to be where there's abject poverty.
There are very poor people even in the cities.
They are, but we have pockets. That's what I'm saying. We also consider that we have some pockets of urban poverty in the urban areas. But our primary focus is the extremely poor people. We are talking about extreme poverty, not just poverty, but those who maybe not because of school feeding would have not had a lunch a day. That's the people, the category of people we are talking about. So we have this classification. That's why I'm happy that at least we have this in place, the National Targeting Unit at the Ministry of Gender, where we ensure that there's inclusion, and then there's also transparency and there's fairness in terms of the allocation of beneficiary schools to the communities.
I've got a lot more messages to read. I've got one from Raphael Afun, but let me ask this question on my mind. If I'm poor and you're feeding my children in school, am I going to continue to be poor and then you'll be feeding them? For how long are we going to go on with this? Is there, in effect, what I'm asking is there a way to make me independent so that I will be able to take care of my own children?
Yeah, that's why I was earlier on said, of course, there are measures to ensure that we are able to enhance the living standard of people, to lift them out of poverty. And so school feeding program is just a tool of lifting our people from abject poverty.
So are we implementing the other plans alongside the feeding?
Yes, we are. We are, of course, because what we are doing is to be able to mobilize the rural farmers, the smallholder farmers, to make them into groups, that is farmer-based organizations. In that way, we'll be able to monitor them well and then able to advance maybe credit facility to them to be able to improve on their farming activities, and then they also sell. So as the capacity of the farmer improves, he's also able to take, because mind you, when the children come home, they are also supposed to eat, because the food they eat in school might not be the only food they will eat for the whole day. So we expect that when the father or the mother is, the capacity of the mother is enhanced, then when the child comes home, is able to also to get nutritious meal to eat, not just in the school. And so we are mobilizing the farmers, put them into farmer-based organizations, and ensure that they are able to get maybe credit or whatever assistance they need to be able to improve their lot.
This one says, brilliant policy. The question is, how do the authorities ensure that the caterers buy the said 8% of their staffs from the local community? In fact, the exact opposite is being done in some schools. Stakeholders should take note of it. And Raphael comes back to say enrolling children on the NHIS is not a difficult thing. The government should endeavor to settle its debts of over 300 million cedis it owes to the NHIA. Raphael Afum at Atoma in the Volta region sending me this message. Let me read a couple of them. The picture showed is true, because how can the government owe the caterers huge amounts? Okay. Thank you for that. You didn't include your name, though. I think before the food will be quality, that there must be enough money for the school feeding. A lot of you talking about the money issue. The caterers are also worried about the money issue. Julius Akugri from WA says, indeed, the reforms you're talking will be helpful, but the only problem is the monitoring. This one says, ask the man why should they owe caterers for 2 terms. In some villages, the indigents don't even sell foodstuffs to the caterers. All right, and okay, let me read this last one. I'm a nurse, says, hi host, I'm a nurse, and I visited a school in Karachi West, and on my school inspection, the food is just nothing to write home about. And when I took pictures and complained about the health implications about it, I started receiving calls from unknown people warning me. Ghana and politics instead of fact. Is from Christian, who is writing to us in the Volta region. So maybe you've had a bit, you can perhaps...
Yeah, well, in terms of the money issue, just recently, when we are going to pay the next tranche, that is the 60 days that I talked about, that one is going to come with new
60
rates.
days is 2 months.
If you calculate it that way, we have 5 school-going days. So they are fed on every school-going day.
Okay.
So maybe you get about 20 or 22 days. So that's it's not 2 months in effect. But be as it may, what I'm saying is that we have increased the feeding grant from 50 pesos as it is now to 80 pesos. And so the new rate will be applied when we are doing the next remittance to the caterers.
Can I get a better understanding? Are you talking about 80 pesos per child for a meal?
Yes. The rates per child per meal per day is 50 pesos.
But how realistic is that? 50 pesos to 80 pesos?
It used to be 40 pesos, and government had increased it. There was this upward adjustment that sent the rates to 50 pesos, and as we speak, is being also increased to 80 pesos. And the next payment, as the minister alluded to, is going to
But
be...
is this the best that we could do?
No,
because seriously, I mean, if you took your family, for instance, and you were even 5 or 6 in the family, and you multiplied 80 pesos by that 6, it would not be enough to have good food.
Yeah, we also have to remember that we are dealing with mass cooking. We are doing mass purchases. We are not feeding the household or an individual person. And so if you make these comparisons, we may not get the effect that we want. But what I'm saying...
I'm just thinking that perhaps the 80 pesos is rather too small.
Yes, maybe we should talk about that and see how we can also propose new rates, and then maybe see whether we can get the approval.
But the caterers are definitely complaining.
They are. That's why I'm saying that even as we speak, there's a new proposal to increase the feeding grants to maybe 1 cedi 20 pesos, and then after we have started paying the new rate, we will see maybe as we go along the new rate that we are thinking maybe also approved. But what we have to also remember is that if you are doing mass cooking, the studies, so many, even if you compare to other countries where Brazil, they have a brilliant school feeding program where that is, even theirs is more or less a right enshrined in their constitution that every child must be fed in school. But for us in Ghana, ours is more or less a poverty alleviation program to be able to lift our people from poverty. And if you compare the rates relatively, ours is not as bad as you may think. We are making progress, and we think that with the 80 pesos, at least the quality and quantity of meals will be enough to
really
to enhance.
I would love to go on a monitoring, some kind of supervision with you to see what the 80 pesos is able to do.
That's what we like, because sometimes we also even want to appeal to our partners and then the media in particular to also take a look at some of these things, because more often than not, the report that we are getting from the media is sometimes for the wrong reasons. But if we are making progress of this nature, we also think that it's also good for the media to carry it, because we know that we welcome constructive engagement with the media, with every stakeholder of the program. But at least we also have to ensure that we are dealing with children. And then if you go to the feeding center, you may not even be able to distinguish between whose child it is, whose child is that. All the children are Ghanaian children, so that we shouldn't put some twists to whatever is done at the level.
Let me wrap up by reading a couple of your messages. This one says, Mamabi, school feeding has been a wonderful initiative. Enrollment has increased substantially in the northern region. However, the issue of caterers' reapplication for re-engagement should be carefully monitored to avoid incidents of denying the good caterers the opportunity to continue their good works and not bring on board the lazy party loyalists. It's from Majid in Tamale. And this message says, from Owusu Entry William, please, there's nothing like implementation committee in any school. Let him tell whether it's a new arrangement or what. Is it new?
It's not. It has been there since the inception of the program in 2005. But of course, as I was saying, we have been going around to monitor. Some of them have inaugurated a committee, but the issue is that because the caterers, some of them in the rural communities, some of the caterers have issues with their teachers. Their relationship is not all the best because of some. You know that sometimes, if you're not careful, the caterer and the school authorities, their relationship in terms of the quality of the food, and so some of the the peoples who are even supposed to be on the school implementation committee as members sometimes are not properly taken care of.
So you know, at least from the headquarters, that some of the committees are non-existent.
No. sorry, I didn't say they are not non-existent. I'm saying we have gone around all over the country to ensure that those committees that have been inaugurated are not functioning. We resuscitated them, we made them functional. But as you know, as when they meet, we even demand that they should give us minutes of their meetings.
And are they doing that?
Yes, some of them are doing that.
All right. This one says, when I was a teacher trainee in 2012, I realized that Jessican College of Education demonstration school was the feeding program. Now teaching the Keta municipality, the case is not different. Schools are benefiting while deprived schools such as Ajato Primary with very low enrollment are not benefiting. I thought the program was or is meant for deprived community schools and also schools with low enrollment. Kwashi Joseph from Ajato municipality sending us that message. This one says some of the caterers are not doing well in terms of quality and quantity. This is Bash in the northern region. What we're going to do is to forward some of the concerns that people have given us.
Yeah, but let me also see that the texter who mentioned that maybe the restarting may affect good caterers, because somebody was alluding to that. The point is that this is the thing. We are trying to improve upon the implementation of the program. We are trying to improve the delivery. We want quality service, and so the reapplication will be done. But at least we also screen very well to ensure that non-performing caterers might not get a second.
Irrespective of the political party that they belong to or how close they are to the MC or the DCE.
Exactly, yes. Because we are even add to what you have just mentioned, we are even coming up with a policy. The policy draft is ready with the Ministry of Gender for honor submission to Cabinet. That policy, when it's ready, it will insulate school feeding from these changing political circumstances, and it will also ensure that we get the legislation for the program. And so it will further spell out the parameters for funding and everything. And we are it's not as if those working political, they are linked to people in politics and all. But of course, it's open to every Ghanaian. If you apply and you qualify, you have the way with that to implement the program. We want quality service. For us, our preoccupation is the children who are going to be fed. That's why we want to ensure that each caterer at least qualifies to cook.
All right, we'll have to leave it here. MD Kwesi Ima, Seidu Abudu Jr. from Labadi. I got lots of your messages. We're going to forward the concerns to Alhaji Siba Alpha, who is a public relations officer, the school feeding program, so that they can be addressed duly. But I appreciate the detailed information that you've shared with us here on this conversation. Stay with us. Roland Walker comes up next with AM Talk.